Big Sills back here. Please hit the like button. We appreciate all of you. You know, Garry Cobb couldn't. I had one of the greatest athletes in the history of Stanford, Connecticut on my morning show, Bobby Valentine. Bobby V was on this morning. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. You know why Garry Cobb couldn't come on Monday? He was being inducted into a Hall of Fame. And I want to know what this Hall of Fame is because I want to give him kudos to this man because Gary's one of the greatest athletes from our area. Because, again, I told you guys this. If Garry was the guy with Craig Bingham, he knows who Craig Bingham is. And those guys set up all of us that followed, the Dave Pazzulis of the world, all of us. Because he ended up going to Southern Cal. So let's bring in Fox 29's Garry Cobb. And we appreciate it. Garry, what Hall of Fame were you inducted in?
It was just the what do they call the old timers, the Stanford Hall of Fame.
I love that.
Because Bobby's in it, and they have it down there and everything up there because they were letting my coach John Hagan. They were putting him in, so that's why they wanted me to come up there, and of course all the folks up there, Tommy Chiappetta. I know you know Tommy.
I do.
He was up there, and it was a nice event that they have. I tell you, boy, what is it? They got a really nice place for kids to work out, and they have all these events. Place up there that they had. I tell you, I was amazed at how nice the place was and everything. But it was a nice event that they had up there in Stamford. So
how do you feel going back there? I mean, that's your sports career, Garry. Just so everyone knows, let me tell you one more time, folks. This guy is a legend where I'm from. I mean, there's so many things that people. The right tech home run, I never stop hearing about it. Okay, I mean, I never get. People always are like, Sileo, because I hit the door. They go, Cobb hit it over the building. I'm like, what? And I was, So, I mean, what did it feel like going back?
Well, it was a lot of fun because, of course, it gets a chance to see, a lot of people and everything. And really, I was there, for Coach Hagan. And, they're going to do something. My older brother, James, was a really good player back there. And so I really was talking about how I just emulated my older brother. He was 4 years older than me. And I really just copied everything he did, and we lived out on the playground, playing ball. We went from baseball to basketball to football, and we just, and they really have a great tradition up there.
Yeah.
And really the thing that while I'm down here, see, I'm in Philadelphia now. One of the big things that I talked about was, and all of the sports fans out there is, you can't say enough about the men that give up their time to be coaches. They help guys develop, and it's not just about being a player, but they help develop men. They help raise men. Those coaches who dedicate their time. A lot of those coaches throughout the country, I take my hat off to them because really they're the key. Because they give up their time. A lot of them they're not getting paid for that, and they give up their time. And here I've got a police officer. I hope because I'm not in areas for. Okay. Just make sure she doesn't give me that. I tell her that I'm getting ready to pull out. Okay. Because this is not an area I'm supposed to be.
Don't get yourself a ticket here now.
Yeah, I don't want to get a ticket, but anyway, let me make sure I let her know that.
There you go. Go ahead, Garry. Go ahead. We're with you right here, man.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a ticket here.
Excuse me.
Are you in? There you go. Hey, let me see the police officer. Let me say hi to the police officer. Okay, we got some problems here. All right, we've checked out here. We're having all kinds of issues here now. I don't know. Did they lock him up? Did the ICE people come and get him? Hey, free Garry Cobb? Hold on here. Did Garry Cobb get picked up by ICE? Am I going to have to make a call like I did for Prince? Holy cow. Free Cobb. I'm gonna get a chant here. Hold on for a second here, folks. We got to make sure we got this thing under. Here.
Yeah, I'm back. But anyway, what I was saying is that, I talked about all these coaches because I had a lot of coaches there in Stanford who they gave up their time. I mean, they were there for the baseball league, the football leagues, the basketball leagues, and I think about all of the sacrifices they made. And, they really, they helped develop me as a player and not even more important than that, as a person, and they taught us about how being a team player and, where you're trying to help the team win. You're not selfish, where you're just thinking about, however many stats you got. It's not really about that. It's about winning. And I see, some of the guys that are on the Eagles now in the NFL, they talk about how their different men had major effects upon them and influenced them and taught them about the game and taught them about, being a team player and everything. So that's what we talked about and I talked about there in Stanford. And I take my hat off to so many coaches that helped me, in my career.
The coaches that were influenced to me in Stanford were Mickey Leone and also
I know Coach Leone.
Yeah, Coach Leone and Joe Angelone were really enormous guys for me growing up because all those guys were the guys that coached me in baseball. They coached me in football. And, I mean, we had great – Garry, I tell people all the time, I saw Jackie Robinson.
That's right.
I mean, right?
I saw Jackie Robinson came to my Little League game, man. Hey, come on. Little League game. Got Jackie Robinson at the Little League game. But we really had a great sports. It was really great sports there in Stanford. And you can't say enough about it. Like I said, you got Jackie Robinson coming to your Little League dinner. And of course, I don't have pictures of it because I didn't know the significance of it. When I was 10 years old, you got Jackie Robinson at your Little League dinner.
Or Robustelli at an event.
That's right. Andy Robustelli. That's right. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't say enough about it. Just really a great program. And really, the people that are doing the same thing, let's say in the Philadelphia area, around the country, you guys are really the heroes. Those dads that go out there and help those leagues and everything. And that's why anytime they ask me to do anything, I'm there to help them raise money, whatever they can do, because there were people that sacrificed for me, and any kids that I need to go talk to that I could help, in their career, I tell you, it's like I said, I wouldn't have made it without those people.
Couple questions on the Eagles for you. Garry, I'm going to bring this up. Moro Jomo, first-year starter. Keely Ringo, first-year starter.
Yes.
You're going to have Trotter, first-year starter. You're going to have a safety that's a first-year starter. That's 5 dudes. Is it too much when you're talking about 5 new starters on defense? Do you expect a small drop-off, a big drop-off, or do you think this is going to be, again, let's just throw the easy one out, a wait and see, because 5 starters are going to be first-time starters on this defense. How do you look at that?
It's going to be quite a challenge. I think that we could learn a lot from what we saw last.
We can't hear.
There
you go.
Yeah. They're really going to be trying to do what they did last year, which is they've got to see these kids. They've got to grow up in weeks. They don't have months, really. It's going to be weeks. They need to grow up. The young safety, of course, he's going to need to grow up. They need some of these kids on the defensive line. Even some of the backups, they're going to be out there in key times. And then you also know, of course, about injuries, where you could have an injury here, injury there, and all of a sudden somebody's sitting there and they're expecting to sit for, let's say, for the year, and all of a sudden they go, hey, such and such, get in there, and the guy has to grow up, meaning like they got to grow up right away. So I think that they've got the opportunity. the fact that they really got a great coaching staff is probably the best thing they have going for them, because you got coaches that have been through this, and that's why I think they got a chance of it. But the offense has got to carry them at the beginning of the season. Meaning, like, they got to be scoring points. They got to give this young defense a chance to grow up. But there's a chance that it could happen. But it's going to be quite a challenge because you got so many guys. I don't feel good about the number of players that have got to step in. If it was 2 guys, that's one thing. 3, but when you're talking 4 and 5 guys that have to step in and key positions, because they've got to learn the mental part of the game. They got to learn, the tempo that it's going at. And then, of course, they got to be able to process all this stuff in their mind. It's really going to be, I tell you, if they do pull it off again this year, they're going to need to give some people some head coaching positions, some of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, because they're going to have worked a miracle 2 years in a row.
Garry, last one for you here.
You're
not expecting Jahad Campbell and Andrew Makuba to have the same impact that Q and Cooper had a year ago. Are you expecting them to have that same kind of impact? Because, Garry, when you see 2 rookies, the way that those 2 guys played a year ago, they were instrumental in changing the culture of that defense. When Cooper went in, it was a different vibe. Q had a great year as a safety or as a corner in the zone defense, but everybody played great. Are we really going to sit here and expect that to happen again to that level?
Well, I tell you, they're really going to expect more out of Cooper this year. So he's going to try to help those young guys, make that jump. So they're going to try to put a lot of weight on Cooper. I mean, he's going to have to step in, and they're going to have him playing corner. He's going to be playing safety. The next minute, he's going to be playing nickel. So he's going to be jumping around. But they're going to need, the young kid, the safety that they drafted,
Makuba.
He's probably going to be needed to start. Maybe not at the beginning of the season, but by after 3 or 4 games, they're probably going to have to turn to him. So he's going to have to, be able to, take in all of the information that they're going to give to him, and he's going to have to process it, and he's going to be out there. I don't know how much of he's going to be playing full time, but depending on how the offense is playing, because see, the other thing is the schedule, man. They got a tough schedule.
Toughest schedule in the league.
That's going to be a tough schedule. So that's going to push things up, because that means they're going to have to pick it up that much quicker. So I think that we're going to be in for a season that hopefully it's up, but the chances are it's going to be some up and down. It's going to be some up and down this year, and
especially early, right?
Yeah, especially early, and you just hope that these kids will mature, and by halfway through the season, you got some guys out there that you are comfortable that they know what they're doing and they're seasoned, and especially I would tell you is they need the defensive line to kind of save them with some pass rush pressure, so that any mistakes that they're making back in the secondary, because I know they're probably going to be more conservative with the calls, so they're not going to be playing so much man-to-man. They're probably going to be in and out of it, but they're going to try to play zone probably until these guys are sure of what they're doing and everything. But they got to get pressure on the quarterback from that D-line. That's going to be a big key, because he doesn't like the blitz, especially with these young kids back there in the secondary. He's not going to want to blitz, so they got to get pressure on the quarterback from that pass rush.
Hey, by the way, this morning I told Bobby V that I was talking to you. I didn't realize that Bobby V went to USC.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but he played baseball. He didn't play football.
That's right. He went to USC, and really, Coach McKay, he wanted him to come there to go after some of OJ's records.
I know he did. I saw the letter in the Valentine's restaurant. He has them all posted there.
Yeah.
And there was a letter by John McKay saying, "Hey, we'd love to have you come here and take over for OJ Simpson."
That's right.
And I'm like, holy, He was one of the most recruited guys. But Gary,
Yeah.
in closing here,
Uh-huh.
seeing you on NBC when I was a young kid in my living room,
Yeah.
okay, that's when I looked over at my grandpa and I said, this guy's from Stanford. So it's really cool that you get a chance to go back and you talk to all the guys back there, because I say this to everyone. I would never in a billion years ever want to be raised anywhere else, because I was in the greatest sports community in Stanford: football, basketball, baseball. Gary, we were very fortunate that it's one of the most underrated places in the country when it comes to sports, especially baseball.
Very, very much so, Dan. You hit it on the head. And we grew up in a place where they really cared about the kids, and they gave us a great, atmosphere, and we learned how to do things the right way. There's a right way to do things. And, I see some of the kids, believe me, I'm over there in the Eagles locker room, or you see some of the other players around the league, and you'll see a kid that, look, it's about winning, kid.
Yeah.
It's about finding a way to win. It is not about you and your stats and everything. You want to be a team player, and they really taught us that there's a right way to do things.
Absolutely. Gary, thank you so much, my friend. Congratulations to you, too. Coach Hagan, by the way, at Stanford, man. His dad, I think, was a fireman with my grandfather. And so I know the Hagan family really well, and that's pretty cool that you did that for him, because he really was a great coach. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, my friend.
I appreciate it, and I hate I had to do it from over there, but I had something I had to run to do today. But I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time every day. Thank you so much, Gary.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
You got it. The great Gary Cobb. We were so fortunate. Man, when I'm telling you, Stamford, Connecticut is one of the greatest sports cities I have ever been around or in my life when it came to high school and junior football. My folks used to take me up to the Italian Center when I was a little kid. My aunt is in here watching the show all the time. You go up there, I'm like really young, and we go to the Italian Center up in Pound Ridge, and there's Jackie Robinson. I grew up around Jackie Robinson and his kids and Rachel. I swam in their pool. I know Jackie Robinson. I mowed the lawn of Larry O'Brien, who had a house in Pound Ridge. It's crazy. I played high school football against Steve Young. I mean, Steve Young and I played. He was at Greenwich, and I was at Stanford Catholic. Crazy. And then I would play baseball against Steve Young. Catholic High versus Greenwich. It was just an amazing place to live and to be raised. The sports, I think, get this. If you guys look it up, I don't know the year. I think Stanford won the Little League World Series twice. I think we've won the Little League World Series twice. Yeah, in Williamsburg. Or Williamsport, is it? Whatever. Little League Baseball was so big. I ended up playing for Team Clairol. And our Babe Ruth leagues were every single guy that I played with went on to play like in the Cape Cod League or in Alaska. It was just great. Bobby Valentine recruited me to go to Cape Cod, and I was part of the Mets organization. It's true. I was part of the Mets. I was a better baseball player when I was younger than I was a football player. That's a fact. I was recruited to play at University of Miami baseball. I was recruited to play at Boston College. I was recruited at Arizona to play. I went to show me baseball camps. I mean, I was really I went to Duffy Bass's baseball camp in Normal, Illinois for Illinois State. They had won a national championship, and he wanted me to come play at Illinois State. I had a company called Worth Baseball Bats, and they were giving me free baseball bats, and I was 12 years old. I would get free Rawlings gloves. I mean, it was just really like the guy, Larry Tallman came. They would give me 40 or like 30 baseball bats, balls. They would give me Rawlings catcher's gloves because they wanted me eventually to sign. And my sophomore year, I had to make a decision whether I was going to play baseball. I went to the Cape Cod League. Just so you know, guys, how about this, Yale? I went to the Cape Cod League, and I played up in Cape Cod. We played a season up there. I hit 288. I hit 14 home runs, and I had 60 RBIs. The Mets were all over me. The Mets were going to draft me. I don't remember. This was like 1980. It was like 1980. And Mickey Leone he was like, look, the Mets. So Bobby Valentine was the third base coach for the Mets. He goes, look, the Mets want to have you come into camp. And if you go into the draft, they're going to draft you. I don't know how high. And I was like, man, the draft is like 30 picks. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know. But if I would have played baseball, I'd played 20 years. Right? Because you could play in the minors. You're not, whatever. I had a really great year. I was a really great baseball player. And I was like, I had to make a choice. So I chose football because then I started going to camps, football camps, and it was cutting into the baseball.